The world's largest collection of petroglyphs, or rock carvings, is situated on the northwest coast of Western Australia, some 1,562 kilometres north of Perth. The Dampier Rock Art Precinct comprises 42 islands in a 45-kilometre radius to form the Dampier Archipelago. This place, which has been recognised as having potential World Heritage significance, is under threat from industrial development.
Well, because I'm concerned about the Barrett Peninsula, the rock art.
What brings you here today?
While I was a student at UWA, I became interested in Aboriginal rock art, and of particular interest the Barrett Peninsula petroglyphs. So I'm here to see if we can what's being done to preserve them, because I think what's happened in the past has been absolutely monstrous.
What brings you here today?
The Rock Art Forum. I'm involved with the National Trust. I'm doing a placement there.
Have you been to Dampier yourself?
No, not yet. And other people who have been there told me that it's kind of, if you walk in there, it's kind of walking into somebody else's house or a church or something. It gives a really strange feeling.
I'm the Chief Executive of the National Trust in Western Australia, and our role here is to introduce, through knowledge and awareness of the complex issues surrounding the rock art precinct at Dampier. Ladies and gentlemen, and so many distinguished guests, it is my pleasure today to introduce Richard Wilkes and Albert Karuna, who will give the traditional welcome to country.
Good morning. Welcome to other elders who may be here today, but I see that, we've got some elders here. That's good. Good morning to any distinguished guests that may be here, because I think we're all distinguished anyhow. And good morning to you, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our own country, Noongar country, here in Perth, Western Australia.
Wilfred Hicks is an elder for the Wonkatu people up in the Pilbara, and he's a great leader and a great visionary, and it's my pleasure, Wilfred, to introduce you. Thank you.
Today, with all the developments on the Burrup, it's destroying all our artefacts.
The significance of the Burrup is our culture, because it's our Bible that's on those rocks.
Since the 1960s, the area has been subject to intense industrial development, which has seen the destruction or removal of a significant quantity of rock art and other archaeological artefacts. 62% of the area has been set aside for conservation, while the remainder is earmarked for development. What's the message from the people?
The general gist of what the world community says is that it's unthinkable that the largest industrial installation in the country should have to be in the same location as the largest cultural monument of the country, especially in a state such as Western Australia, which has one of the lowest population densities in the world.
This is what Dampier looks like from space, 42 islands. This is what it looks like on the ground. A landscape worthy of being a national park. It should have been a national park for a long time. This is what we are trying to turn it into. The largest industrial complex in the country.
Tell me just how important this place is.
Well, a couple of years ago, about 4 years ago to be exact, the World Monument Fund declared this Dampier Rock Art Precinct as one of the world's most endangered heritage places. This is the first time that this has happened in Australia, and it still remains as the world's most 100 endangered places. And it's our role to make sure that that gets off that list, and more importantly, that the values are conserved and interpreted for future generations.
In a very short period of time that I have, it is impossible to convey the significance and global importance of the archaeology of the Dampier Archipelago.
It is unique. It's unreplicated anywhere in the world. The density, the subjects, the styles, the artistic beauty of it all is really stands the Dampier Archipelago as unique. 42 islands on the coast of the Pilbara. The largest island, which was Dampier Island, now known as the Burrup Peninsula, is approximately 27 kilometres in length by 5 kilometres at its widest. You find the engravings over that whole landscape. In varying densities, in some of the incised valleys where there are rock holes that contain water and springs, you get a higher number. When I say higher number, we're talking about tens of thousands of engravings within one valley. In the talk I gave, there's a general coverage of subjects and styles, but each valley has very specific images that only in that valley do you find them.
In the first phase of rock art, and I am quite happy to say in the order of 20,000 years, plus or minus 5,000. The height of the last ice age, 18,000 years ago, is probably a good cut-off period. We know people were in the Pilbara from 30,000 years at least. We know people were in Australia from at least 60,000 years, possibly longer. The Burrup rock art seems to map an initial stage of art production at around 20,000. Also get slightly later, but around that same period. Bear in mind I'm talking about a period that might span 10,000 years. These figures with the disarticulated or the dot head or blob head. Very distinctive form, but as you can see in this, they range in actual style, but it's that feature that's part of it. You then get a development after that into these very simplified bird figures, and the human figures follow that trend, and it does look like we're talking about a transition into a different phase. So sometime after 18,000 we have a change in the art production. You definitely get thylacines in the rock art for a long period of time, but what you also have is this character. Very distinct fat tail. They're known from a number of sites in the inland Pilbara, in the Hamersley Ranges and on the Burrup. It is quite probably that what we're looking at is a representation of an extinct species of macropod, rather than it's an artistic convention of the fat tail. There are just too many representations. They're all very similar in style. A couple of features that note them